Action.
Welcome, Drink with James, episode 61, Hawaii edition.
Welcome, Drink with James, episode 61, take 2. This is the first time we've ever had to redo a Drink with James, and I apologize. We shot it, as you can see, we shot it on the beach.
In Kauai, we hiked to waterfalls, we were in a helicopter, we did a sea cave tour, we had a catamaran sunset cruise. It has been a difficult week of work.
Unfortunately, it was super windy, and the wind totally messed up the sound. You guys wouldn't have been able to hear, and then you would have been in the comments like, oh, I can't hear you, blah, blah, blah. I can't hear your nuggets of wisdom that you're sending over from Hawaii to me. So we have to refilm, so that is why it's late. So first, apologize for that, and also why you're looking at me in the conference room and not on the beach. I was also really feeling my look in that last video. So you get Pinstripe James, not Jailbird James. But as I said in the intro when I filmed it a few days ago in Hawaii, we just spent the week in Hawaii with the Armani Beauty team. One, launching their new fragrance, Sky, as well as supporting some of the existing fragrances they had. Now, I got a promise from Michelle of Michelle Takes Aim that she is going to come on Drink with James. She has some really, really interesting insight because she was kind of stagnant in her growth for a while and then totally changed the way that she thinks about Instagram and the way that she kind of posts and the way that she shoots, and it completely changed her account, and she's grown like crazy over the last couple years. I'm not going to give her secrets away because it's better coming from the horse's mouth, as it were. But she's going to come on. She was out there with us. She's incredible. Okay, so you got one more with me. The next two are going to be with guests. One of the most respected brands in social. The woman that's responsible for all of their influencer work is going to be in here. She spoke at the conference. You guys love her. Everybody loves the brand. That's super exciting. And then we got a couple guys in the menswear world who are going to be on. I'm not going to tell you now. I'm going to keep it a secret. But we haven't really done as much menswear. Super excited about doing that. So, without further ado, that's the word I was looking for. Without further ado, let's get to the questions that I've already answered, but I'm going to answer again. What are something I think influencers, beginners are getting wrong? I continue to think that people are too motivated by money and they're trying to get paid too early. I've said it many times. And look, let me step back. I think if I answered this question 6 months ago, there would have been something about consistency and quality and all of that. And I think the quality level of up-and-coming beginner influencers is off the charts. It's incredible, and I think that is why it's so hard to grow. And so I think when people hit 10K, they feel like, finally, like I've hit 10K, I can start making money. And I think the up-and-coming influencers, again, are taking too many brand deals with brands that people aren't interested in for $100 or $200, and I don't know that it's the best call. I was talking to I had dinner with an influencer who's at like 40K recently, and she was saying that she scaled down massively on the brand collaborations that she was doing and really was focusing on just hitting 50K and creating really beautiful content that her followers wanted and not doing as much sponsored content. Again, if a brand comes to you and it's a gifting campaign and there is a reason to do it, and you love the brand, I definitely would say do it. But I think if you're at 10K and you could spend 5 hours a week pitching brands or 5 hours a week coming up with new concepts to shoot, the 5 hours a week spent coming up with new concepts is 100% going to pay more dividends than the couple $100s that you're making over here. So that's a big thing. The other thing is people looking for the silver bullet. You're looking for the one thing that's going to help you grow. It doesn't fucking exist. There is no one thing that's going to help you. There's no company, all these companies reaching out being like, we're going to help you organically grow your content. You could use a comment bot. You could use a like bot. You could use these hashtags versus these hashtags. Like that is, that stuff might get you an extra 5%. but it's not going to solve the problem. We've talked before about the idea of product market fit in startups, which is like once you have a product that the market likes, it's very easy to grow, and that growth kind of just compounds itself, and it just gets faster and faster and faster, and it's happening kind of on its own. And again, most of the influencers I know who have grown, once they find something that works, or 30 things that work that they're doing, it's like, yeah, I just started getting 100 followers a day, and then it was 150, and then it was 200, and that's a really frustrating thing to hear, but it's not going to be one thing. Your comment pod isn't gonna fucking fool the Instagram algorithm and get you thousands and thousands of followers. And even if it worked for a week, Instagram is going to figure it out and they're going to shut it down. And so like hacking your growth is not a sustainable way to build a business. And some of these companies I see influencers using to help grow their accounts organically, those same influencers are ending up with really bad graphs in Fohr follower health tool. So you have to be conscious of the kinds of followers that these companies are sending you, because it could end up ruining the way you look in the industry. So those are kind of my two big things. People are trying to get paid too soon, and they think that there's just this one silver bullet. If they could just figure this one thing out, then they're going to grow and it's going to completely change their lives. But there's no one thing. There's 100 little things that you need to do every day. And those 100 things are different for every influencer. What worked for JC from Damsel in Dior, or Olivia from Lust for Life, or Blair from Atlantic Pacific is not going to work for you. And so unfortunately, figuring out the things that work is going to be a personal journey, and you should certainly look up to people, and you should have mentors, and you should watch Drink with James. But end of the day, you're going to have to try these things and figure out what works for you. Number two.
That's a great answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe I should always do this twice. There's a lot of money in skincare. So basically, let's say you're a fashion influencer, you don't talk about beauty or skincare, you know there's a lot of money in that space. Should you get into it? How can you get into it without looking like a sellout, like you're just doing it for the money? That's a great question. Again, we were in Hawaii last week with Armani Beauty. Yes, beauty, skincare brands are spending a good amount of money in this space. Let me just give you a little reason why, okay? Cosmetics have an 87% margin. Generally, that's where luxury cosmetics usually have 80% margins. Now, a normal clothing brand is probably 40 to 60%. There's a lot of other businesses that are 15 to 20% margin. So cosmetics brands are making 2 to 3 times as much money on their product as, a clothing brand. Certainly, sometimes 5 times as much as other things. So all of that money, a lot of it goes into marketing. And beauty and cosmetics and fragrances, it's a marketing-driven it's a marketing-driven industry because there is so much choice. It's not about fit. It's not about style. It's not about any of those things, really. Like, any person can wear, I know that there's different variations in skin tone and things like that, but like, anyone can wear any fragrance. So how the fuck do you sell fragrances? You have to market them. That's not the case as much with clothing. So yes, there is more money flooding the market in cosmetics and beauty than there is in traditional fashion. Just across the board, some of the biggest marketers in the world are beauty companies. L'Oreal is the 5th largest marketer in the world, and stop. Chanel is number 13 or 14, I think. So these brands are spending a lot of money on this. Now, you think to yourself, cool, I'm trying to get money, I'm gonna start doing that. Not a terrible idea if it makes sense for you. Let's say you're a fashion influencer, right? You've built a following of 50,000 based on the strength of the fact that you have great style, and that's why people follow you. Are people 100% going to like your beauty content? I don't know. Do you know how to put makeup on? Well, I don't know. Now, skincare is a little different because I do think that that's a little bit more like everyone can kind of talk about skincare because you can say like, hey, this is a great moisturizer. I do think for beauty, you probably have to, know how to put your makeup on decently well. But it's not crazy if people follow you because they like your style. It's certainly not a huge jump to say that they will be interested in the kind of makeup that you're going to wear. So I would encourage you to, start to try that content out and start off. Let's step back and say you have 250,000 followers and you are making a good living on, fashion posts, and you want to incorporate beauty. I think the way I would do it to not seem like a sellout in the beginning is put yourself on like a 6-month no sponsored content hiatus. Say like, in beauty, I'm not going to do sponsored content for this period of time so that I can coach my followers up into feeling like this is authentic and these are the brands that I use. I think that if you come at your followers and you've never done a beauty post before and then all of a sudden you're doing sponsored beauty posts, I don't know that that is going to sit really well because you haven't built legitimacy, you haven't built you haven't built up your credentials and expertise in this space as much. So I'm not sure that you should be doing sponsored posts there yet. Yes, you have 100,000, 200,000, 20,000 followers, whatever. Those followers have a value, and it's not crazy that a beauty brand will come and purchase that value from you. I'm just saying I'm not sure you have the expertise yet to be selling these sponsored posts, and I'm not sure that your followers are going to really respond to it well. So I would start by doing only unsponsored content for a period of time to get your followers and users used to that. So when those partnerships happen, which they will, it feels authentic and it feels organic. And look, by you posting about sponsored content, like that is going to, as you posting about beauty, that is going to alert beauty brands that you're posting about beauty, and it will probably bring you deals. But again, I encourage you to hold off on getting paid for a little while you train your audience, which moves nicely into the next question. How do you train your audience to like new content? This idea was decently foreign to me. And I was talking to Eva Chen, who works on the fashion team at Instagram. And she was the first person to mention this to me, the idea that you can train an audience. And it is her idea that like, you can retrain your audience to like anything, but you have to be very structured about it. So again, let's use the beauty example. You want to start to bring beauty in, start one day a week. Tuesday morning, you do a beauty post. And I would encourage you to keep a sheet of paper or keep a file on your computer where you write down your engagement every one of those posts and see if you can get that engagement to go up. See if you can figure out what works for you. It's Tuesday morning, beauty post number 1. You do a really close-up shot of you putting some makeup on. You say, okay, that got a 1.2% engagement rate. Next week, you do a flat lay of products that you've used, and that gets an 8.8%. Whatever it is, keep experimenting, trying new types of content. Write down what your engagement percentages are. Very easy to figure out. Add up the number of likes and comments, divided by a number of followers, that's your engagement percentage. Track that, and kind of just like, again, maybe take that file and like copy and paste the photo you used, put the engagement percentage next to it, and watch that over 6 to 8 weeks and see if you can get those engagement rates up. You can go to your Fohr card page and you can look at your Instagram stats on your profile, and it will give your engagement percentage for the last 30 days for all of your posts. So let's say your engagement percentage for all of your posts is 1.5%. Start doing beauty posts. It's not crazy that it's going to be lower than that to begin with. Let's say it's 1%. Well, can you get that to 1.5% in 2 or 3 months? Keep experimenting, trying new things, seeing what your audience reacts well to, but also be consistent with when you're posting, so that they can get used to it. Oh, Tuesday mornings, I know I usually get an outfit post from her, but I know I'm going to get a skincare or beauty post on this Tuesday. So I do think it is possible to train those people. It's just you should be smart about the way you do it, and considered in the way that you introduce new content. Because end of the day, people followed you for a specific reason, and when you introduce a new line of content that you're doing, you're asking them to start following along with something that they didn't buy into. again, it shouldn't be that hard to get them into it, but don't think that you can just post whatever the hell you want and you're going to get the same engagement rates and it's going to go great. So that's the end of that answer. Look, we're done here. Are we done? We're done. You have any questions? Okay, we're done here. Again, I'm sorry that the beach one didn't work out, but as I was telling Tim, I was shockingly hungover the day that I shot Drink with James in Hawaii. It was like, it was the last day of the trip. We had worked 6 days straight, 20-hour days. I had slept maybe, I think I counted it up, 22 hours in 6 days. Everybody was shattered and we were maybe overserved a little bit. And so I woke up that morning very hungover. I hastily shot Drink with James and I feel like this one was better. So thank you. Keep asking questions, keep watching, send it to your friends, send it to your mom. Make me famous. Cheers.